So we want to start with today's first segment, and that's going to be our conference on the EU digital single market. And we've invited a special guest to kind of help us set the stage. So without further ado, I'd like to call onto the stage now the Director General, Economy, Digital Economy of the European Commission, Mr. Gerard de Graaf. Mr. de Graaf, come on up.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hanover. I'd like to thank Mr. Torsten Dirks for the excellent cooperation, for helping us to have this European day today. And I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting exchange of views. We heard some lovely music before the event started, and maybe some of you would have wished that the music would continue for the whole workshop. But 32 years ago, there was a milestone of the intersection of digital technologies and popular culture. And it was a song, and I think it's a song that you all know. It's a song by Nena, 99 Red Balloons, 99 Luftballons. In that song, in the English version of the song, she talks about, or she sings about, bugs in the software. And this is the first time, it's the first explicit reference to software in pop music. 32 years ago, #1 in the charts all over the world. And at that time, of course, it was a novelty, but today, of course, digital is the popular culture. And much more than that, digital is everywhere. Digital is impacting massively on our societies, on our economies, and on our industries, and it's growing, and it's a global phenomenon. And how we deal with this in Europe, what responses we offer in Europe, will decide to what extent Europe will be successful in the digital economy and society in the future. The responses we develop today will have a huge impact on where we will be in Europe, in the world, in the next 5 to 10 years and beyond. So what is the European response? And we're going to discuss these responses quite intensively during the day. Let me just highlight 3 elements of a policy response. First of all, Horizon 2020. This is the biggest research, development and innovation program in the world. More than 70 billion euros is invested in new technologies, in 5G, in cloud, in big data, in cybersecurity, in Internet of Things, in Airbus of chips. We're also investing massively in startups and SMEs and in innovation. We have a program, for example, called Open and Disruptive Innovation, where we invite startups to come forward with major disruptive ideas that are going to create totally new markets and to respond to expectations, consumer expectations that maybe the consumers don't even know they had. We have a program called Innovation Radar. We can see exactly in our programs where is the excellence, what are the potential maybe next Googles or next Spotify's and next Netflixes in Europe. We have 30 of them to this week in Hanover, and I would really invite you to go and check them out. So Horizon 2020, a very important funding program of the European Commission. Secondly, Mr. Torsten Dirks already reflected or referred to it, the digital single market. And thirdly, the digitization of industry. On the digital single market, indeed, size is everything. This is about network effects. This is about getting to market first. Number 2 is not where you want to be in the internet economy. It's all about scale and speed. Our national markets are too small. You need to be able to scale up fast. Regulation and restrictions stand in the way. If you're a startup in Germany and you are successful, you want to expand into France, into the Netherlands, into Italy, every time you have to start up again. Starting up and operating in other member states, we have done some studies on that, cost on average about 10,000 euros. So every time you start up in another market, just to familiarize yourself with other rules and regulations costs you 10,000 euros upfront. We have a market, potential market out there of 510 million consumers, 20 million companies. We can compete in scale with the US market, with the Chinese market, if we remove those obstacles and if we harmonize our rules and regulations. The third, digitization of industry. Commissioner Oettinger later today will lay out the vision for Industry 4.0 at the European level. The transformation is happening now. It's happening very fast. New products are kind of enabled by these technologies that are coming together. 5G, Internet of Things, cloud computing, big data, 3D printing, all enables, robotics, all enables new products to be developed, production processes to be made more efficient, new business models to come into being. There's major opportunities for the EU industry, and in many areas we often say Europe is behind. In this area, Europe is not behind, Europe is leading, and we can actually, if we get our act together, we can extend our lead. What is Europe doing? We want to put in place the best possible data infrastructure in the world. So that is fast internet connections, it's secure cloud, it's the best capacity in high-performance computing so that European industry and researchers can tap these benefits that are available. We want to speed up standard setting. We will hear more about that in one of the panels, so that Europe leads in the area of standard setting, which is, of course, of critical importance for interoperability within the digital single market, but it is also a major competitive advantage for access to global markets. We want to invest more. We want to use European investment to trigger major investments of industry and of member states in all kinds of areas across the value chain. This is all part of our DSM strategy, which was announced and published last year, and which we are now implementing. We are going to come forward with a major number of initiatives, legislative proposals during this year, and we call on the Council and the Parliament to adopt those as soon as possible. So 3 strands, a strong European framework, we're working very closely with the member states, in a complementary way, working very closely with the industry. We believe that is the key to success in Europe. Let me finish again by quoting the Nena song, the 99 Red Balloons. In the same verse where she talks about bugs in the software, she sings about there's something out there and we need to discover it. And clearly there's a lot out there and this week in Hanover, and I would very much recommend that you discover it. And I'm looking forward to a very interactive and very exciting and stimulating discussion today. Thank you very much.